Well, it is 4 o'clock. We are going to go ahead and get started. We want to welcome everyone to our 2026 CABE Board Election Informational Webinar. Before we get fully started, what I would like to do is give Dr. Carlene Aguilera Fort an opportunity to say hello to everyone. He is our CABE Board President. Dr. Carlene Aguilera, would you like to say hello?
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. Maganda umaga. Thank you for joining and thank you for your interest in becoming a part of this great organization as a board member. You will receive very important information about criteria and other aspects that involve becoming a candidate and a board member for this great organization. Once again, welcome, and I want to thank the team for putting this webinar together, and I hope you find the information very valuable. Thank you again. Thank you, Dr. Lampkin.
Thank you, Dr. Carolina Aguilera Fort. Appreciate your words. And as Dr. Carolina Aguilera mentioned, we are going to go ahead and get started. My name is Dr. Edgar Lampkin. I am the CABE CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of this tremendous organization. Many of you are probably CABE board members, and one way or another, you've become a CABE board member. We thank you for being a part of our membership. And also thank you for thinking about expressing that interest in becoming a part of our CABE board. Can we go to this next slide? Thank you. So in this webinar, we want to give an orientation as to what you may need to know when it comes to being a CABE board member. What does it take for the election process to take place? The things that you're going to be learning here is, number one, the latest changes to the election process. Thanks to the input from many individuals, we took a step back, reflected, and have made some changes. So we're going to share with you what are some of those changes that we've made to be able to help the process be a lot smoother and easier to walk through it. We're also going to go over the election timeline key dates that you will need to know. We're going to give you an opportunity to understand what the eligibility and application process is all about. We will be going into more depth on this area in our next webinar when it comes closer time to being prepared to apply for the CABE board position that you might be interested in. We're going to take a look at what the board member roles, qualifications, duties, and responsibilities are, where you can find that information. We're going to share with you some web resources to support any candidate that is interested in joining us. This webinar is going to be recorded and it's going to be available for anyone to take a look at once we have completed the webinar, so that not just us that are here present, but other folks can also view and get acquainted with all of these different areas. And last of all, we're going to open it up for questions and answers with, of course, our current board members. Next slide. I want to introduce to you the staff that's involved with our CABE election process and supports it. It's Maria Villa, our Deputy Director, who is on the road right now, but she's with us. Then we have Joshua Howdigi, who's Director of Administrative Systems. Then we have our tremendous ITCD, which is Instructional Technology and Creative Design Director, Norma Rocha. Our Executive Assistant, Aida Madison. And of course, Lori Miles, our Communications Manager, who also publishes our CABE newsletter that we get sent out to our membership. So we want to welcome all of them. Next slide, please. And so here what you have is all of our CABE Board of Directors, from our president, Dr. Carlene Aguilera Ford, who just got a chance to meet and hear from him. We also have Dr. Marilena Esquer, who is our vice president. our former president, Dr. Raul Maldonado. And we have with us today Dr. Barbara Flores, who is going to be assisting with the presentation. She is our Director of Financial Affairs. Mary Helen Ibarra, who would be joining us, but she's on a cruise right now and she's having a great time, and we wish her the best. She's the Director of Legislative uh, Policy and Affairs, the Director of Legislation and Policy Affairs. We have our tremendous and wonderful Marissa Lasso Neco, who is the Director of Paraprofessional Affairs. Mariana Lee, who is the Director of Parent Relations. We have Rosita Rosa Armstrong, who is our Director of Community Affairs. Dr. Reyes Quesada, Director of Secondary and IHE Affairs. And of course, we also have our region members, Dr. Dr. Annie Bicklong Jung, who is the Region 1 representative. In Region 2, we have Marta Padilla Chavarria. In Region 3, we have Mr. Hong Tin Tren. And in Region 4, we also have Angelica Hurtado, who is here joining us because she's part of the board elections committee. And here presenting today, we also have Dr. Sara Cepeda, who is the representative of Region 5. Next slide, please. At this point, what I would like to do is turn it over to Dr. Barbara Flores, who will walk with us through the next step. She's the Director of Financial Affairs in our CABE board. Dr. Barbara Flores, welcome. We're turning it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. We hope that this information will help. I'm sure it will. And just want to thank our staff for putting it all together. It takes a whole team. And thank you so much, staff. So the first slide that I'm going to present is, what is the CABE Board of Directors? It's a group of 14 elected members who guide CABE's strategic vision and long-term direction and help shape the policies, the programs, and the priorities that advance CABE's mission of biliteracy, educational equity, and cultural and linguistic diversity to all our students. This is our vision and our purpose that we all, make decisions on. And this is a very important group. We are very collaborative. We make a lot of decisions. And so this is what we do. Next slide. Here's some other examples of what does the CABE board do. We set an organizational direction. We help define CABE's goals and strategic priorities that support bilingual and multilingual students, educators, and families in our state of California. We also oversee programs and initiatives. We review and provide guidance on CABE's statewide programs, conferences, professional learning, advocacy work, and publications. What does the CABE board also do? We ensure financial and organizational health. We approve budgets. We review financial status. We ensure that resources are used effectively to support our CABE mission. We also support and evaluate leadership. We work collaboratively with our CABE, with our CEO and leadership team to ensure programs, staffing, and operations are strong and mission aligned. We also serve as an ambassador. CABE represents values, promotes its strategic goals, and engages with members, partners, and communities across the state, nationwide, and internationally. We also serve, and who serves on the CABE board? Our board members are elected by CABE members statewide. And they are experienced educators, administrators, parents, researchers, and advocates. We are very passionate about bilingual education, equity, and multilingual programs. We volunteer, our volunteers are committed to serving the CABE community. We are volunteers. This is all unpaid, and we volunteer our time, our expertise, and our passion for the parents and students of, the state of California. These are the CABE board positions. The blue are the current represent the current positions. The red represent the 2026 open positions. So we have a president, a vice president, a president-elect or immediate past president, we call them. They're in red. That will be up for election as well, these two positions. The Director of State and Legislative Affairs will also be open for the 2026 election. The Director of Paraprofessional Affairs will also be up for election. Director of Parent Relations also. Continuing will be our Director of Community Affairs, our Director of Secondary and Higher Education Affairs, our Region 1 representative, our Region 2 representative. I'm sorry, our Region 2 representative, Region 4 will be up for re-election, but our Region 3 and Region 5 will stay on, 1, 3, and 5. And also the Director of Financial Affairs will stay on for another year. Okay, next. Why would you consider running? Well, serving on the CABE board is an opportunity to influence state level policy and practice in bilingual and multilingual education. We have a strong, very strong tradition in terms of working with our legislators and also with the State Department of Education. We, as an advocacy group, we elevate the voices of our students, our families, and educators. We also support the growth of dual language and multilingual education programs and family and community engagement through community schools. We have programs that do this and professional learning programs, and they're of high quality. We also contribute our expertise. You will contribute your expertise, your leadership, and vision to strengthen CABE. We seek candidates that will, strengthen our CABE board. So think about that. We also have and connect with networks of committed professionals across the state, nationwide, and internationally. A lot of us have a lot of networks that we have built across time and during our board membership. Okay. And now I'd like to present our chair of our election committee for this coming year, Dr. Sara Cepeda. Sara?
Hi, and good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so grateful that you're with us. This is a wonderful organization. And so now we're going to talk about some logistics and what the election timeline is going to be. And so today is December 9th, and you are here with us today. This is the informational webinar. On January 27th, we have the application and election process webinar. March 23rd is when applications actually open. And you have approximately 3 weeks. The applications close on April 10th at April 12th at 11:59 p.m. The election window opens April 24th through May 8th. And then on May 26th, the election results are announced. And we also look forward to seeing you at our installation meeting, which is held June 12th to the 13th. And so the application process. So again, the deadline is April 12th at 11:59 p.m. When you click on the gocabe.org/elections 2026, it will provide you all the details that you need on the very specific job that you want, or the very specific board position that you are interested in. And we need the following from you. We need a personal statement. We need a candidate statement for the website, 3 references from your professional experience, your candidate photo, and then you will be providing us a link to your candidate video. And then again, we look forward to welcoming you at the board installation on June 12th and the board meeting on June 13th. Now, who is eligible? There are some minimum requirements. So you must be at least 21 years of age. You must maintain regular membership for 1 full year immediately preceding your application deadline. So if you're interested in knowing that particular date, you can email membership@gocabe.org, and then someone there will respond to your email, providing you with your exact membership time or date. Support CABE's vision and mission. Be bilingual or multilingual, English and other language, and or actively learning other languages. Be active in a local chapter and in good standing in the community. Be of good moral character. Support the actions and direction of CABE and its board of directors. And of course, be committed and passionate about implementing CABE's vision of biliteracy, multicultural competency, and educational equity for all. But you're here, so we know that that's you already. And so again, there's going to be a link for you to look up very specifically the job description of the actual position that you're interested in. So for example, president-elect and vice president preferred to have served 2 years on the board in different position prior to applying. Director of State and Legislative Affairs must have knowledge of the legislative process, prefer to have some connections or ties with advocacy groups, state legislature, and the governance of the state education department. For the position of Director of Paraprofessional Affairs, must have current, paid, not volunteer, service in the capacity represented by the position. Director of Parent Relations must be a parent, guardian, or caregiver of a student attending the public education system in grades K-12, and preferably a parent of an English learner. And then our region representatives, which are open regions 2 and 4, reside in the designated region. So board roles, qualifications, duties, and responsibilities. Again, we urge you to carefully look through and read all the detailed information. And those board positions are very specific because of the jobs that you will be providing for CABE. So we want to make sure that you fit those qualifications. And there will be a link for you to check out very specific the details and criteria of that position that is open. And there is more election information at gocabe.org/elections 2026.
And so maybe at this point, we can turn it over to Norma Rocha, our ITCD person, to just kind of walk us through. So you click on that, and Norma, what happens?
Yes, thank you, Norma.
Sure. Thank you so much, everybody. Hi, my name is Norma Rocha. I'm Director of Information Technology and Creative Design. And it's my pleasure to show you the election webpage. As Dr. Sara Cepeda said, you can go here to gocabe.org/elections. And I believe the link is also being placed in the chat or the Q&A section. And I just want to show you here that we have listed the positions. You can go ahead and click on any of these, and it'll open the PDF describing the qualifications and responsibilities and giving you more information about what is expected. And then we also listed here the important dates. We did go through them in this presentation, but they're also here that you can check at any time also by visiting this page. We also listed our next webinar registration if you're interested in pursuing the process, like Dr. Lampkin said. And then we listed those resources that we mentioned as well, and they're listed here. And then when all is ready, I kind of would wait, if you agree with me, Dr. Lampkin, after the next webinar to submit your application. We definitely will have more time in the spring, especially, the conferences before that, and you're planning on attending the conference, get to know CABE a little bit better. And then definitely, gives you time to get those letters of recommendation and your statement as well as your video ready. Thank you. Take it away. Next person.
Great. Next slide. So, at this point, just to kind of share with all of you that if you are interested in applying for an open position, you have had a chance to see what all the positions are that are open. Take some time to also go into the website and take a look at what those positions are in regards to the qualifications, the requirements, the duties, the responsibilities. We want to thank those individuals that gave us some feedback and input because before what we were doing is we were providing a packet of information. And so all of this information was in this one packet. Now you'll be able to go to the website, you'll be able to access the information, you'll be able to read all the information that is necessary for that particular position. So what you want to do at this point is you definitely want to go in and take a look at those pieces. Now, on January 27th, from 4 to 5 p.m., if you have decided that you want to run for one of the CABE board positions, then what you may want to do is join us for this particular webinar, because what we're going to do at that point is we're going to actually walk you through and give you an opportunity to see what those candidate positions are, what the qualifications are. We're going to walk you through the application process so you'll get a chance to actually see the application and all of the requirements that are there. We want to highlight what are some of those resources that you're going to need as you begin to work on your application. One of the big challenges that I want to highlight, and I think Dr. Cepeda mentioned it, but I think it's extremely important. One of the concerns that was there before was trying to fill out the application and then submitting it with all of the requirements that are there, like, filming your video, filling out the application, getting your letters of recommendation, and then to find out that you maybe did not qualify because you were not meeting that requirement for being a board member for a full year, for being a CABE member for a full year. So as Dr. Cepeda mentioned, you definitely want to send that message to membership@cabe.org and say, hey, am I a member that qualifies to run for a position? That's the first thing you definitely want to do, because we will do the research, we will look up the information, we will let you know. And if you qualify, then that gives you the in to jump in and do the application. At this next webinar on January 27th, if you could go back, we want to explain to you also the ballot process and the election process. So, so there's a process for the elections, and then there's a process for after the elections. And so we're going to walk through that in more detail to help you understand what are all of those pieces that you need to know. We're going to help you understand also what those resources are, like what are the things you can and can't do as we have the ballot election process going. And then we're also going to address any questions that you might have at that point, whether it's regarding the position, whether it's the application process, So this webinar will be very important if you decide that you want to run for the board, CABE board. Next slide. These are individuals that you can reach out to and contact for different reasons. Application and submission questions, you send your email to nominations@gocabe.org. Membership questions, go to membership@gocabe.org. Technical assistance, you have had a chance to meet Norma. You send her a direct email, norma@gocabe.org, and she's amazing. She will work with you on that as well. Next slide. So at this point, we are going to give you an opportunity to submit any questions that you might have in the chat. We do have Joshua Howdigi, who is monitoring the questions in the chat. And so, Josh, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can share with us what some of those questions are and we can provide answers.
Absolutely. So thank you, Dr. Lankin. I believe some of you had your hand raised. If you could just post your questions in the chat, just so we make sure we're able to address them to everyone here. One of the first questions, though, that we did get was, will the slide deck be posted online? And I mentioned that the slide deck, we could post that as online, but most importantly, this whole webinar will be posted online as well as the webinar on January 27th as well. So you're able to go back, look at it. You can watch it in 2x speed, so it's a little faster. So you can skip the parts that you need that's most relevant to you. So information will be posted on that website, and I put the link in the chat as well. So do we have any other questions? Great. We have Olivia who asks, it states that it is required to be active in a chapter. This is not in the bylaws and many areas do not have an active chapter. Is there going to be a process to vote and add to bylaws? Also, it requires to be a paid, what I think is a paid position. She might be finishing that. So with that question, I believe that's in regard to the region reps, and I believe the region reps do have to be geographically located in that area. We did take a lot of this information from verbatim from the bylaws, so we are following what the bylaw says. I would have to double check to see if it actually specifically says an active member.
And if I can add to what Joshua just shared in regards to the bylaws are actually very difficult to change. And Josh, maybe you can explain why and what the challenge has been in the past when it comes to bylaws. As far as the policy or the procedures, that we can definitely work on, but bylaws, why, Joshua, is it so hard to change them?
Well, the challenge in the past with changing anything in the bylaws is we are a membership organization, and we would need a certain quorum to fulfill any changes or updates to the bylaws. There are caveats to that. We can do it by proxy. It doesn't have to necessarily be an in-person vote. But the challenge is getting enough votes to meet that quorum to change the bylaws. So changing the bylaws is not as easy. We do work within our guidelines as whatever the bylaws say. And sometimes we get creative and we try to understand with our interpretations of that, but amongst the different board members, we discuss what our different interpretations are of it and move forward with that at the board's guidance.
And Olivia or Yaya, you mentioned it states that it is required to be active in a chapter. And this is not in the bylaws, it is in our policy. Yes, that could be changed, but that's not something that has been changed. That would be something that we would have to bring to the board and have them make the determination or vote on whether we want to make that change. But at this point, it is in our policy, and you're right, it's not in our bylaws.
Great. Did we have any other questions? Good questions. Thank you.
If there are no further questions, what I would like to share with all of you is that we want to once again say thank you to the individuals who have provided feedback. As you can see, we have backwards mapped our timeline. We are putting together some webinars to provide the information and answer questions that might be there, give you an opportunity to make sure that you do qualify, that you are making that decision to run for office, and giving you the support, the connections, the resources that you may need through webinars that you can take a look at or go back to and take a look at, a web page where you can go in and gather the information you need, emails that you can send that we can respond to, so that the process is more streamlined, it's more visible, transparent, more open for all of you. So thank you again to those folks for their feedback, and we will continue to see what we can do to continue to improve the process. We want folks to be part of our CABE board. We know that individuals who apply are passionate about the work that needs to be done. And so having said that, I'm going to ask Dr. Carlina Aguilera Fort to give our board president to give a little closure here.
Thank you, Dr. Blanking. Again, colleagues, friends, thank you for joining. Thank you for your interest in being an active participant in this process. And again, as you know, we learn as we go. Processes, even though for many years have been in place, it doesn't mean that they have to stay in that way. Nothing is done intentionally, and it is true, it's the interpretation of these processes. I also would like to clarify that all these process that the board change in terms of implementation of the policy are guided by legal counsel. So it's not just the board, but we do request guidance from legal counsel so that we are actually making sure that we follow the spirit of the policies as well. So again, thank you. We hope that you will participate in this process, and looking forward to seeing all of you at the next webinar. And definitely, we are looking forward to see you at CABE 2026 in San Francisco. Don't forget, that's another way of connecting with people and connecting with members. So we know who you are and your interest in becoming a CABE board member. Thank you.
Thank you again, and that concludes our presentation. A big thank you to our presenters, Dr. Barbara Flores, Dr. Sara Cepeda, and our CABE staff. This concludes our session. We will be pinning it into our website once we are done, and we look forward to seeing all of you January 27th if you decide to run for CABE board. Have a great rest of the evening.